Hello, everyone listening today and tuning in to this discussion on innovative volunteerism and youth climate action solutions and how we can leverage on each and everyone's ability to turn environmental challenges into opportunities. Today, I'll be having a discussion with a special guest, Isika Emanuel, who is an innovative volunteerism actor and who, in his own capacity, as a passionate, youthful African, have devised solutions and is working with a team of young people across Nigeria to devise information communication technology applications to address the challenges that are actually affecting communities, especially environmental challenges, and doing so in a way that can turn these challenges into opportunities for young people to create jobs, as well as address issues that are affecting men and women, children in communities. Uh, it's now time to have Isika in studio. So, Isika, how are you?
I'm doing well. Hi, everyone. Hi, Doctor. It's great to be here today and hoping to have a fruitful discussion. And for those watching online, I hope you'll be able to learn one or two lessons from my journey and how it has been so far.
Excellent, excellent, Isika. Thanks. I mean, you are always very bubbling and excited and passionate about anything that touches young people. And you're a young person, you are a university student, and you always create time, at least, to do something that adds value to society. So, what have you been up to?
Okay. In the team we've been building because Africa can't change except there are builders to solve problems. So that is simply what I've been doing, building and building things. You know, one thing out there is we'll keep complaining in Africa. We complain about the government to family to national issues to individual issues. Even I've seen certain people that complain about themselves, they complain about the background and so on. But then with this attitude, one won't go far in life. So the true attitude of transformation and change is building, development. So far we've been working on products, first products. These products connect farmers to market and will understand that okay, there are farmers out there that needs to be empowered with various farm produce. And this is what we are currently doing. We are connecting through the Ebapreneur solution app. We are connecting farmers to market. So on this, you can get large amount of things like cassava flour. You can make lot of things. Even charcoal is kind of dangerous to the health. So what the team is producing is they produce a non-environmental toxic product called briquette. And what this does, it burns faster than charcoal, more durable, sustainable, and then it doesn't affect the environment. So what we are doing is we are pushing this product out there through the app and helping those in the rural communities, helping them become better. And that is the goal from the agricultural standpoint of view. And then for the employment, because I was an underrepresented person, I was poor. There is nothing you will use to classify. Before I met wonderful mentors like Doctor and many others who built me to what I am today. And over this, I'm currently building a product to help people out there that are underserved like me as I was convert into the career in tech. So you will be able to use ICT to solve problems in the society, and this will position you in the employer. And according to ITU data, it shows that over 6 million jobs will be created in the ICT field by the year 2030. So what we are doing is we are preparing Africa for the future of work through a product called Personalize. And once
Excellent.
again, Doctor, thank you for the mentorship and this awesome opportunity.
Well, thank you very much, Chika. One of the things that I like about you is that you have an attitude to learn. And that attitude to learn is actually what makes a difference. Because if you have an open mind to learn new things, to unlearn, relearn, and apply logic to address challenges, there is really nothing that can actually be beyond solvable. And in your opening statement, you mentioned something that is quite very, very important. And I, first of all, appreciate you and the team for coming up with the ICT solution to apply it in a way that they can address the challenges of community. And that is really something that is going to have monumental impact positively in the community beyond Nigeria and even to the entire African continent and the world. You mentioned an aspect which is something that at least it drains and sometimes this I mean it dissuades people to not do things. People complain in the morning, they complain in the afternoon, they complain in the evening, and what they are complaining about doesn't change through that process of complaining. And it's become part and parcel of, or a way of life, that we sometimes in the continent complain about what we complained 10 years ago, doing nothing about it, and just hoping that by some way those complaining and talk of problems without applying any solution or taking effort to devise any solutions will just automatically get away as solutions come out of the blues. That doesn't work. And you said people even complain about themselves, but as they're complaining about themselves, they're not even making an effort to address the deficiencies of the aspects in which they are complaining. So what I would like to ask you is, how do you really see this attitude of complaining uh, moving from where it is today to something that people can start using that energy to start devising solutions? What do you think needs to happen?
With that, I will share a story. I think around last 2 months, someone walked up to me on the street. I've known him for years, and he was my friend. So he walked up to me and said he lost his mother, and then he has to repeat the university from 3 years back. He's in final year. He ought to be in final year, but he went back to 200 level. His father disowned him, and he was alone. There was no place to live, no place to feed, and it was just too toxic for him. And when we met, it was just complaining.
Wow.
So I did the little I can because meeting the basic need of everyone, which is accommodation, feeding. I tried my possible best. But there is one thing I keep telling him, that you don't change situation by complaining. You have to own this problem. You have to tell yourself, I am the cause of the problem. I'm part of the problem. It's just as simple as that. Because until that register in your subconsciousness, you will too be comfortable to change. And the truth is, being uncomfortable is the secret of growth. No one grow in the comfort zone. And then fast forward, in the space of 1 month, this guy took responsibility. From no one having no skill, having nothing, he got a job in a Lagos-based company and is currently earning over 100,000. And
Wow.
his situation changed. So it's just that simple truth. You don't change anything by complaining. You change things by taking a model which I learned from Bobby Sharman called absolute personal responsibility. That
Yeah,
is the
Ezika, that is, you are saying something that I think that our viewers really need to understand this, because honestly, I can tell you that as a continent, we are currently fatigued with complaining. It's become a daily endeavor that it's adding no value, and people are drained and tired, and so they don't have an alternative but only to complain. So what you have, what this practical example you are giving is quite very, very excellent. I think before you come in to explain this absolute, can you just briefly explain how you yourself became a solution provider rather than a complainer in chief, so that at least someone listening can see how you transition to that and who helped you do that and how did that happen? Very briefly.
Okay. Growing up, I've always been a complainer. Seriously, yeah. You hear me say things because one thing is, your environment really affects your mindset. Yeah, where you are, it's a result. Who you are today is a result of who you associate with, and then where you are. So then, what happened is I begin to see things from a different lens of view. I asked myself because then I was complaining. I was from an underrepresented background. I did not have food to eat. I was not independent. I have to call home that are struggling, and then I just had to ask myself that, okay, are there people making the difference out there? I began to look out for successful people. I saw mentors, and among those mentors, Jonathan Jevia, and the one who really brought me close was Dr. Richard. So one thing I learned while working with Dr. Richard for a year plus is he always told me, he said, turn your opportunities into challenges. I mean, turn your challenges into an opportunity. And that one sank. I began to ask myself, how do I change this situation? How do I turn everything around? Because for you to identify opportunities, you have to research, you have to go out there, you have to tell yourself, you have to just become uncomfortable. I started making research. Who are those people out there that have done what I want to do? And doctor encouraged me. He provided me with great resources, mentorship. This is what in innovative volunteerism we call structural guidance. And this is the tool which makes the society becomes what it is today. So what happened there is through all these registers subconsciously in my mind that, oh, my mindset, I have to become a solution provider because it was eating me here and there. Those who I spoke large amounts with, Dr. Richard and other mentors, they're always telling me there is no room to become a failure. Like, you ought to be successful. Just take hold of your life. Take hold of your life. Turn this challenge into opportunity. It stopped being motivation then. Then I started putting this into reality. Then I used what I have, which was my little resources. And my little resources then was few hours on the internet. Few hours on the internet. That was all I had. I don't have money. I don't have a good job. I don't have anything. The support from family and then the support and the resources from mentors. That was all I had. So I used
Yes,
this.
that's
And
really
then
excellent. You can see my very good friend Divine Chamakon is saying you can see brilliant young man that he just stumbled on this. And Divine, thank you for saying that. I mean, you are championing a mindset change program called Chat Night Africa. Just to say that we see this, and thank you, Divine, for that comment. Yes, continue, Isika.
thank you, Divine. So I used these resources which I had at that moment to cause change because all I could do was just access the internet. I started researching. I started learning tech skill. Okay, what are people doing to make a difference? How do I apply for jobs? How do I get a job? And then in the space of months, I got that job. Because one thing, anything you commit your heart to, because all you need is passion. Anything you commit your passion to, no matter what, ways and doors are going to open. So I did this for months, and before you know, I got my first job in Nigeria company. I progressed to working into foreign companies, working in India and the United States. And that is where I am because of that little resources and that mentorship which I was given them. And this I want to tell you, everything I was taught by Dr. Richard in the space of 1 year is just this. Look at your challenges, turn that challenge into an opportunity. If I can do it, definitely you've heard from many innovative volunteers how they do what they do, how they became what they are today. If I can do this, definitely you too can do it. It's just as simple as that. And I'm not stopping here because that is the mindset of a builder, of a solution provider. You don't just do something and then get comfortable. So this level which I am, I'm looking for the next big thing. And the next big thing is to build a solution that will help Africa transition into tech. And this is what I am focusing on alongside helping connect farmers to the market. And remember, you can do it. And thank you so much for the mentorship, Doctor.
Wow, Isika, I mean, I'm just mind blown with this practical reality of how you actually change from being a complainer in chief to being a solution provider. And I think everyone listening, and it's not just for the young people, but even older people who are still young at heart, it takes an individual to self accept that complaining will take him or her nowhere. And so it is very, very important to self reflect and start to do something that can address the very problems that you complain about. Just imagine the 1.4 billion African citizens who currently complain about nearly everything. If they just took time to reflect and start doing something, then the challenges that they complain about every day will become solutions, because each and everyone can then be able to devise solutions. And so, Isika, can you now explain that formula that you were explaining earlier before I interjected for you to explain how you actually change from being a complainer to a solution provider, so that at least those who are listening can gain something from that?
Okay, the formula was, as I said earlier, it was inspired by Robbie Sherman. Robbie Sherman is one of the top authors in the world. He has sold over 20 million books, and I'm privileged to work closely with him. And this is the formula, the ARP model: absolute personal responsibility. Then you keep telling yourself, the reason for my failures is me, not the government,
Wow,
not the
repeat that
economic.
again. That's interesting. Repeat that again. You said the reason for your failure
The
is
reason for
you,
my failure
right? So
is
you take
me.
ownership first. That's a very good one. Continue.
So, not the government, not my parents, not my background, not my society, not those who refuse to mentor me. Why? Because in my quest of mentorship, I got many no's, seriously. Because my vision was to change the world, 1 million people. Imagine I'm meeting a mentor who has not transformed 1,000 lives, and I'm telling him in 2030, I want to help 1 million people. So I got answer like, Emmanuel, this is impossible. But I can tell you, in the space of 1.5 years, I've been able to reach out to 13,000 across African continent, and then
Wow.
help thousands of
Wow.
people
Wow.
to change
Wow.
the
Wow. That's man, let me give you, yeah,
world.
excellent.
Thank you,
13,000.
Doctor.
That's amazing.
So it's simple. It's simple. Like, you take personal responsibility. Even as someone said, he said that failure isn't that you are not good enough. It's just that you gain more experience. Someone cited an example. If you have a marketer in your company and you give him $1 million to run a marketing campaign, and the person failed, he said, "What will you do as a manager?" And the manager said, "I'm going to fire the person." And the recruiter laughed. He said, "The person has learned how not to waste 1 million on a marketing campaign." So that failure turned to an experience. And then if that person got fired, the second company which is going to benefit from that experience, because the person learned how to fail using 1 million. And failure isn't repeated twice. You can't. So when you take action, you can't fail twice. The only person that failed twice is when you keep doing the same thing. Even as Michael Faraday said, he said, if you keep doing the same thing, don't expect a different result. So if you do a thing one way and it's not working, do it the other way. When you
Right.
keep trying, before you know, you are going to get the formula. And when you get the formula, you're just going to become successful. People are going to come to you to ask you how you do what you do. So as I said earlier, even being privileged by doctor, is that this formula is APR, absolute personal responsibility. Take the responsibility for your failure. Tell yourself things are not working because of me, not because of the government. And then ask yourself the change maker question. What can I do to make a difference? Not in the society, not in the world, not in Africa. What can I do first to make a difference in my life? Because what people want to see is the result. Then when you make that difference in your life, you will be able to change others. It's as simple as that.
Wonderful. 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 I mean, this is what I would call the panacea to the complaining syndrome that have eaten deep into everyone's inner ability to do anything that needs to be done to address the challenges we face. You mentioned something that I would like to still repeat again, that first of all, self-acceptance that we are the problem is very, very important, because without accepting that we are the problem, then we will always expect someone else to solve the issues that we're complaining about. Because if you are complaining, then you are part of the problem. And without you coming up with a way to address the very issues you are complaining about, then the problems will continue, because the other person complaining is looking up to another person, and that other person is also complaining. So it becomes a circus, just a circus of complaining and complaining without any outcome that is positive. So what I would like to get your thoughts on is, we have a continent that is 60% youthful. And if we were to look at numbers, numbers don't lie. And at the same time, if you are looking at ingenuity, creativity, passion, vision, these young people do have the creativity, they do have the passion. what is stopping them from leveraging on this trend of passion, of creativity, of ingenuity, of vibrancy, of entrepreneurial ability to take charge rather than always waiting for government? Because the reality is that the government that they keep talking about, the rule of government is to create an enabling environment. And when you look across the continent, policies are everywhere, but you see people complaining about the very things that they can do themselves. For example, you and your team develop an information communication technology that is now going to connect people to access products that have been developed using climate action solutions. You did not wait for government to tell you to do that. What you did was to simply follow structured guidance. So, what would you say needs to be done so that at least these young people can wake up from slumber?
Okay, thank you so much. First, I'm going to say this, that if you see any young people complaining out there, check
And
who they are.
just so you continue, I think Divine is saying this young man has so much to teach African youth. Thank you very much, Mr. Divine. And I can see Sammy Keys is saying, Emmanuel, I love all you said. Kodus Emmanuel. And Mr. Divine again says that you like the mindset change crusade. Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Divine. I mean, we are in this together. He said that every line that comes out of your mouth, Mr. Sika, is like a magnet, and that he would like to bring you on his show, Voices of Africa, on Chat Night, which is an amazing show that talk about African issues and solutions specifically. And definitely, of course, I'll connect you to him. But continue with your ideas on how we can be able to turn this titanic behavior that is so negative in complaining about everything to now start talking about and acting with solutions.
Okay, thank you so much to the guests, and thank you so much, Doctor. So I was saying that if you look at anyone who is a complainer out there, permit me to use the word like who is failing. The truth is just this: is that they are surrounded by failures. Anyone who is a complainer, who is complaining, check out. They are surrounded by complainers. So now, as I said, the first thing is to change your environment. You don't need to leave your physical location to change your environment. Why? Because everything that has to do with your environment is up here, your mindset. So then you just need to change your environment. If you look at people that are complaining, saying things are not working, count the C's of their closest network. Count where they visit the most. Count who they follow. Look at these things. And the best way to do this is through their social network. You are going to notice that who they also follow are complainers. So now Africans need to raise leaders and not complainers. We need leaders and not complainers. Those people who are going to stand up and tell
You
others.
have said something, and so let me just interrupt you here. The complainers in chief are surrounded by complainers in chief, and that is a big problem. How do we break that circles? Continue.
Okay. So Africa needs to raise leaders, and then how to become a leader, because being a leader, it's not about the position, it's not about your title, it's about your personality, who you are, and then who you aspire to be. So these leaders, if you are out there, you're listening to this, and then you fall under this circle of complainers, the first thing you need to do is to change your network immediately. Change your network immediately. Now, if you follow people that are always complaining, things are not, let that be like a thorn in your flesh. When you see Nigeria is not working, Africa is not working, immediately there is something that stings you. I say, no, this person is lying. So that is it. You begin to build that mindset. You begin to tell yourself, it is working. Then you start asking yourself that question: who are those people that are not complaining and making a difference? You try to get close to them. And how do you get close? You don't need a physical touch. Doctor and I has been in contact for years, but then I've never met him physically. But he has impacted my life. And it's just that you don't need a physical touch. You can
Thank you.
engage through social media. You can engage through Twitter. Just what I do is when I find that person out there that has done what I want to do. As a leader, I just go on Twitter, I click on the follow, and then I on the notification. So whenever this person make a tweet, I'm the first to say it. So I begin to read the person ideas. I begin to see the person perspective about life, and then I begin to ask questions. And that is just it. And that is how I've become what I am today. In my career, that was exactly what I did. I went on LinkedIn, I follow, and I on my notification. So immediately you are tweeting, I'm the first person. Once you tweet, I'm going to comment. I read everything and then I put this into practice. If you can do this for just 1 month, 2 months, I can tell you are going to see a difference in your life. And that is just the secret. Stop being among the circle of complainers. Start looking forward to those people that are changing things, that are doing things which you aspire to do. Because there is nothing new in this world. Whatever you want to do, there is someone out there that is doing it, that has done it. So you just need to check out these persons and then replicate what they are doing. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful, Isika. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. And from what you are saying, I mean, it is quite very visible and realistic that even when spaces are created, they are not utilized to make any positive impact. They are utilized to propagate the complaining way of things rather than providing solutions. They're utilized to propagate that complaining attitude. When you look at Twitter, you look at Instagram, you look at Facebook, if you open these spaces today and look at the kind of verbiage and the kind of negativity that is being spurred by young people and even older people complaining about issues every day, and you look at the number of people who follow them and comment on those negativity, you start to wonder, is there any space or any iota of opportunity that positivity can ever reign in a continent? And from what you are saying, that's true. Instead of using Twitter, using Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook to share solutions and ideas, or follow people in whom you can learn from. Like you rightly said, we have never met, but I've been able to mentor you and you have been able to learn. Then instead of using those spaces to do that, they use the spaces to spur negativity. So how do we break this ice?
Okay. The only thing we can do is try, is preach the gospel. And this is
I
a way
love
of
that.
preaching
You
the
preach the
gospel.
gospel of mindset change. we
So,
keep we keep preaching it.
so this is a way of preaching the gospel. We put it out there and it's left for people who see this, who see the tweets, who see the messages, who watch the video to accept this because it has to do with personal conviction. One thing is when a man is really tired of his situation, he's going to seek out a solution. It's just as simple as that. Once a man is really tired of his situation, he's going to seek out a solution. And the reason why people keep complaining and complaining and complaining and complaining is still because they are not yet tired of their situation. When they are tired and then they hear someone telling them there is a solution called mindset change, they are going to come for it. They are going to read all those articles. They are going to watch all the live streams. They are going to watch all the videos. And then when they do this, they are going to use this to transform their life. So all that is just needed for them is just time and then hoping that they get these resources, all that resources which are right for them, even at the right time.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you very much, Isika. To what extent do you think the educational system has contributed to this? Because when we go to school, we are promised white collar jobs. Instead of being taught to create jobs, we are taught to be job seekers and waiting for government to employ us or organizations. And with this kind of mindset, people are prepared to leave school and get into money making opportunities that are not created by them, but that are given to them. Do you think to an extent this has perpetuated this dependency that when it doesn't happen, then people fall back to the default stage of complaining?
I think that is really right, Doctor. Because then I remembered How of this transformation happened? Okay, I've been into the space of voluntary since 2000 and I started voluntary 2017. Then I was SDG coordinator for the United Nations Sustainable Development Solution Network. That is UNSDSM. And I've been on this. But then it never came into my mind that this can be a tool for change. Why? Because I never saw the world. Coming into the educational system, which is almost 99% of African, even not just African, across board, whether in America, across the globe, this has been their mindset. Going into school, they believe school is a means to an end. That is, when I get into the university, I'm going to get a job when I'm going out. But the sooner we all realize that this is not happening, the better. The stage where school gives you a job has come and gone. My father told me those years, anyone who finishes university, as you are celebrating your graduation, there is a job waiting for you. There are companies coming to seek you, but those years are far gone. They are behind us. Now, what is before us? What is before us is that, okay, once you are in school, you learn skill, you learn things that will help shape you. These things become value to you. So we can just say you learn value creation. And then once you are there, you begin to sell this value out there. For any employer to employ you, what they see is that value. I'm bringing you into my company because of what you have to offer. And what you have to offer is what? Value. So this is just it. And then we just need that in order to become a solution provider. So begin to see yourself, tell yourself that, okay, there is no job out there waiting for me. There is nothing out there waiting for me. And then all I just become is I need to add value to myself. Whether I'm becoming an employee, I just need to add value to myself and then make sure everything is stable and secured. Thank you so much, Doctor.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful, Isika. I think you have touched on all these aspects, and honestly speaking, that is the way it's supposed to be. But I think, from what you said earlier, taking personal responsibility and also starting to challenge people, as you did explain, that when you met your friend and he was complaining, you had to challenge him, and not challenging him in a bad way, taking him to task to take responsibility. And people don't understand that leadership is personal responsibility. We talk about leaders as if they come from space. Leaders are us. And each and every one is supposed to be a leader by taking personal responsibility to solve problems, to turn challenges to opportunities, to inspire one another, and to usher ourselves into the solution space. So, if this can become the norm and not the exception, then this is really something that Africa urgently needs today, like never before. And with this, we have institutions in the continent that are traditional institutions, if I might call them so, that can actually be leveraged to start to drive this mindset change. And one of them are churches, are mosques. To what extent do you think that the religious institutions are missing an opportunity to enact a mindset change that can make people to take personal responsibility and become solution providers, not always waiting for miracles? Because, of course, we are spiritual in our own way. But however, the attitude of hard work and sacrifice to turn challenges to opportunities seems to be relegated to the back burner as we wait for miracles to be able to address this. To what extent do you see this a big problem, and how can these institutions, the church or religious institutions, so to speak, to put it bluntly, become the driver that can create an enabling environment for mindset change to take center stage? I would like to hear your thoughts.
Okay. Um, Thank you so much, Doctor. One thing is the closest body to the average African is two. First, the family. Second, the religion. That is the closest to Africa, not an NGO, not an employer, not an organization. So if there is anybody that can penetrate Africa, it's the religion body, be it the Christians, be it the Muslim. And this, I will love to say it. For the Christians, when you look at the book of Deuteronomy 28, verse 18, it says, "And God will bless the work of your hand." This simple message changes everything. It changes everything. Why? Because God won't bless you except there is a work in your hand. If you don't have value, you don't have skill, God won't bless you. He said he's going to open the windows of heaven and pour down blessing. And that blessing is not coming to anything apart from what? The work of your hand. So the question still finds like, what are we doing? Now, religious leaders need to tell this truth to their members that, okay, you can't receive God blessing except you have work in your hand, especially if you are to survive in this place called earth. Because that is just the truth. This is the principle, and this principle is universal. Being it any religion, the Buddhist, the Muslim, the Christian, they are just universal. You can't be blessed except what you have a work in your hand. And the work of your hand has to do with value. It's simply like, what value are you creating, basically? So the church leader needs to implore the members, okay, what value, what are you doing to upskill yourself, to make you more better than who you are yesterday? Because the competition is not about, I want to be better than my neighbor. It is, I want to be better than myself. That who I am today, I want to grow better. I just want to be the expert in my field, the number one go-to person in my industry. That is the work of your hand. And what we God do, he said, he will bless you. What is it blessing? Your work. So it's blessing your work because your work will affect your life and it will transform your life.
Yeah,
So this
exactly.
is
I mean, then why hasn't this become the mainstream narrative when it comes to these institutions? Because what I'm trying to say, because I've looked at every aspect and you have beautifully put it, we must start with what we have. And the closest point to start is family and religious institutions, because those are what are closer to the people. But unfortunately, and I use the word unfortunately without any fear of contradiction, this is not what is happening. Because even education that we spoke about earlier, it starts from the home. That kids can then be able to be nurtured and guided, that you need to respect, you need to be self-disciplined, and you need to work hard. Those are educational values, and they are the fundamental tenets of education that start from home. And then now religious institutions, where the preaching of love and kindness and hard work is supposed to take center stage. So if Africa is the most religious continent in the world, then it's supposed to actually have been the best solution provider continent in the world. And from what you are explaining is you cannot be able to be blessed if you are not offering value. And to offer value, you need to be able to turn your talents into skills and use those skills to turn challenges to opportunities. But people today want value when they cannot offer value. Isn't that a contradictory? And how do we break this ice?
Yes, that is really contradictory. And one way we can do this, and this is what I've been planning in the long run, is to partner with this religious institution. Because one thing, if you are out there, you're having an organization, you're working in an organization, it's to partner. The truth is, the best way to create value and to make what you are selling know is through partnership. So now, this religious organization, they accept innovations, they accept innovations, they accept things that turn solutions into opportunity. So what we've known this, we've known that things are
So
not
from
working
what you
now.
are saying, yes, from what you are saying is they are where they are and missing the opportunity because they do not have the ideas. And so through partnerships, they may start to get the ideas or influence so that at least they can start to move in that direction that we're talking here.
Yes, sir, that is one of it. So now, because let's take an example. When you look at the pastors in Nigeria, because what we were taught is you need God calling to become a pastor. So you see someone who is just hasn't completed secondary school, is moving in the anointing, is pastoring, and then spiritually the members are well filled. But when it comes to physical being, there is lack in the church. Why? Because of this exposure is not there. And then they're able to embrace because all they need is results. Now the question is, we have results. They have people. So now there needs to be a sync between this result and the people. So there should be a platform where there is partnership with these religious institutions, with these educational institutions. And then what this partnership will do, it will help build the members. And the truth is, be it schools, be it religious institutions, they are proud where their members succeed. Everyone is proud if those they are mentoring, if the members are successful. It's just a simple truth. The reason why advert is advert today is because they boast that, okay, 70% of their students who graduated from advert are successful entrepreneurs. And they call the set like Mark Zuckerberg and the like. And when people see them, there is an hype in this school. So same with the religious institution. So when they see that their members are becoming, and there is this principle laid down, which is being brought by the outside body, and then this will be an iota of change. Because one thing about change is through partnership. Because partnership for the goal is the major, and then how we can boldly drive change in Africa. Thank you, Doctor.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you very much, Isika. So this is quite very clear. My next question, which I think we will have to now start rounding up after this exploding discussion from the solutions perspective. What do you think the rule of materialism? Because if whether we talk education, we talk religion, material seems to have been the biggest barrier or problem that is obstructing people to individually pursue what can be done to touch lives in communities. It's all about material. It's about me rising up to get number of cars and buildings and all those sort of things. And this seems to have actually somehow stifled the ability of people to freely engage, to be able to be of value to society. Because why I'm saying that the purpose of life is to be useful. And that usefulness seems to be overshadowed by individualism, which is actually what is causing the problems in the continent. Because if you look, Africa is a very rich continent. It's actually a very rich continent. All the minerals in the world, uncultivated arable land, 65%. We look at the youthful population, that the sovereign capital. Africa has got everything. But you see those who are rising and rising quick, that's fine. But the collective rise of the entire continent is not happening because of individualism to an extent. To make everybody to be selfless and share knowledge and share ideas and engage people in partnership seems not really to be the norm, because people sometimes are driven by material pursuits. So what is your take on this? And do you think that this material pursuit that has become center stage rather than solutions pursuit is actually what is causing the disparity between progress and retrogression?
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. Now, many people are of the mindset that money is the problem. But truly, the question is money really the problem? Money is part of the problem. We all know what is trending in the tech industry. Elon Musk bought Twitter. But then I was looking at the news. Elon Musk is one of the world richest man in the world. Look at what he has. His tax alone is the national income of certain countries. But this is the most interesting thing I saw about the news. He bought Twitter 44 billion. Half of this money was paid in cash. The other half was paid in loan. What does this say? This said that he was limited in finance. He was limited in money. Yet he pursued his dream of buying Twitter. So what is this telling you out there? That even though you have limited resources, do what you can now with what you have. So if Elon Musk, the tech giant, one of the billionaires out there, is applying this principle which is being taught here today, this gospel, let me call this a gospel, this gospel, if he's applying this, and this simple application has taken him to where he is today, it shows if you apply it, it's going to take you to where you are. So when you keep complaining that there is no money, the truth is you don't know how to turn your challenge totally into an opportunity. So you start small. Someone said, you start local with the aim of going global. You start small, start with what you have. That is simply the gospel. Start with what you have. If you are running a business and then what you have can only produce two products, start without two products. Once you start with that, give it time, because the truth is, any successful people, anyone who wants to be successful, all they need is not basically the lot of money. All they need is just time. Because with time, they are going to gain influence. They are going to build products. They are going to build a network that will drive the resources called money they need to actualize it.
Exactly, exactly. That's a very good point. And Isika, what is your take with the fact that sometimes even when young people start small with what they have, they get easily distracted and then they give up what they started just because they do not self-believe in themselves. Because I think the aspect of self-belief cannot be ignored, whereby instead of focusing on building what can be able to address community challenges and be relevant to the community and to touch the lives of mothers and children. For example, solutions to reduce air pollution, solutions to ensure people can get organic, produced food using the information communication technology. Then when young people start these, sometimes they sell that logic or innovation up just because they wanted to make money and then forget the fact that at least legacy is not created in terms of money, but it's in terms of the solutions and the impact that you make in community. So this aspect of lack of self-belief is really a serious issue. And so that takes me to the question, how do you see innovative volunteerism taking this forward? And how has innovative volunteerism impacted you as an individual as we run up?
Okay. One thing I would say is innovative volunteerism, as the word sound, is really a good mind. Yeah, because it is a place where mindset are being built. And then when mindset is being built, definitely it's just a matter of time before that life is being transformed. Why? Because that life is at the moment creating value. That life is at the moment developing self, developing skill. That life is at the moment gaining network. That life is at the moment connecting that product to the market. And that's just simple thing, because that is basically it. Now, at the moment, you might not see the immediate value, but then you have to break this down into smaller chunks. For example, you need to ask yourself, between the duration which I started and now, what is the progress I have made? Recount your progress, because when there is an iota of growth, therefore that zeal to go forward will be there. When there is an iota of growth, when you look at it, okay, where did I start from? Before I started this business, how many people did I know? When I'm in this business, when I'm in this, how many connections have I built? Yeah, things, the road is not going to be smooth always. The road is going to be rough. But then you just have to ask yourself, okay, how far have I come? Because when you notice that there is a sign of growth, that zeal to keep pushing will just come. And that is what we call passion. Passion to keep on going. You keep on moving even when things are not working out.
Wonderful, wonderful. Passion to keep on going, passion to keep moving, even when things are not going, because passion is the new currency of now. And without passion, no matter what we do, we might not be able to make progress and drive transformational development. And I always say that if you throw money on passionless citizens, through money, even if it's 1 trillion US dollars, through that
It's going
money
to be
on passionless citizens, nothing will change. And, and
nothing
and
which
that is why sometimes I always say that we miss the opportunity to nurture soft aspects, but we focus on the hard aspects. Because if we don't nurture the soft aspects for people to become passionate and pursue what they can pursue, no matter the amount of money you put on those people, nothing will change. And that is what is happening. And then we keep missing this equation. And so this discussion today, Isika, thank you so much for providing your perspective on how we can be able to drive a mindset change in young people as well as old people, to then start to see challenges as disguised opportunities, and also leverage on environmental challenges and turn them to opportunities. And that is what is being done through innovative volunteerism, where you people have worked together with young people to come up with an information communication technology tool to ensure that communities can be able to access simple solutions that can better their life. So with that, I really give a big appreciation to you. And I think now we will continue next time. And next time we are going to discuss how we can make this mindset change become the mainstream narrative for transformational development in Africa, and also how we can leverage this mindset change building on what is already happening to drive climatepreneurship and environmentpreneurship for young people across the continent. Thank you very much. And to those our viewers who are listening, it's always a great pleasure to have you to listen. Here we discuss solutions. Here we discuss opportunities. And here we discuss how you can become the solutions that you have been waiting for. Thank you very much. And again, my guest, Emmanuel Isika. Thank you. And next time, we'll be back. Thank you. Bye-bye.